Reports are surfacing that Taylor Swift has filed for divorce from Travis Kelce, and it's all tied to a so-called shocking secret that's now going viral. Clips and past comments from Kelce have also started resurfacing, and it's quickly turning into a major controversy. But what's really behind these claims? Let me break down what's actually happening. On the afternoon of April 27, 2026, a post appeared on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, from an account called Hoops Crave. The message was short, blunt, and devastating to millions of fans around the world. It read, simply, that Taylor Swift had ended her relationship with Travis Kelce. No context, no sourcing, no named representative, no official statement, just a flat declaration from an account that, as it turned out, identified itself in its own bio as a parody account. But by the time anyone bothered to check the bio, the post had already gone nuclear. Within minutes, a second post from a separate account, It's Dre, piled on with additional claims. That post alleged the pair may have quietly called it quits after weeks of subtle tension behind the scenes, citing unnamed sources who claimed their hectic schedules. And growing pressure from the spotlight had created cracks. It accumulated 783,700 views in a matter of hours. The post did not name a verified source, document, or representative. It was social media speculation dressed up as breaking news. But the algorithm did not care about verification. The algorithm only cared about engagement, and this had engagement in spades. Fans began doing what fans always do. They started overanalyzing everything, searching for any potential signs of trouble in paradise. By scrolling through recent Instagram activity, checking who had liked whose posts, and examining whether the couple had been photographed together in recent days. The frenzy spread from X to TikTok, from Reddit threads to YouTube commentary channels. The online trend, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift breakup, escalated rapidly, prompting widespread speculation about the couple's relationship status. Within 24 hours, the words Taylor Swift divorce were trending in search engines. Even though, as we will unpack in detail, the couple is not even married yet. To understand why this rumor spread so fast, you need to understand the landscape it dropped into. This was not the first time the internet had tried to break up Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Not the second time, not even the third. For nearly 3 years, the world has been captivated by the seemingly picture-perfect romance between international pop icon Taylor Swift and Kansas City Chiefs superstar tight end Travis Kelce. And for nearly 3 years, a cottage industry of rumor mills, tabloid aggregators, gossip influencers, and anonymous social media accounts has attempted to insert wedges into the foundation of that relationship. Sometimes for clicks, sometimes for ideology, sometimes for reasons that defy logic entirely. The timing of the April 27 post was strategic in a way that most people did not initially recognize. It landed in a window when the couple had been less visible than usual. Travis Kelce had just signed a new contract with the Chiefs for a 14th season, officially recommitting to Kansas City on March 23, 2026. Swift, meanwhile, was deep in the promotional cycle following the massive success of her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, which had moved a record-breaking 4 million equivalent album units. Since its October 2025 release, both of them were busy, both of them were working, and in the absence of fresh coupley photos, the void was filled by people who profit from uncertainty. There is a critical distinction that almost every breathless headline failed to make. During that chaotic 24-hour period, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are not married. They are engaged. The star couple announced their engagement in August 2025. That means the phrase files for divorce is on its face impossible. You cannot file for divorce from a marriage that does not exist. But the headlines kept coming, and the algorithms kept pushing them, because truth has never been a prerequisite for virality. So where did the shocking secret angle come from? That part of the story has roots that go deeper than a single tweet in April. For months leading up to this moment, a constellation of separate but overlapping narratives had been building, each one feeding off the others, each one adding another layer of doubt to a relationship that, by every verifiable account, was still very much intact. Breakup speculation has resurfaced online in recent weeks, with some tabloids claiming the couple faces challenges. Those challenges, to the extent they existed at all, had to do with logistics, not love. The first thread in this tangled mess involved Travis Kelce's career uncertainty. Following a disappointing season for the Kansas City Chiefs, Kelce is reportedly weighing retirement, a decision that has temporarily pushed other long-term plans to the background. The Chiefs had stumbled to a 6-11 record last season, though Kelce still led the team with 851 receiving yards. That poor season, combined with the natural question of how long a 36-year-old tight end can continue playing at the highest level, generated a cloud of uncertainty around Kelce's future. And wherever there is uncertainty about one part of a celebrity's life, the internet will happily extrapolate it across every other part. The second thread involved the wedding plans themselves, plans that had shifted publicly more than once, in ways that gave ammunition to anyone looking for cracks. And this is where we need to rewind significantly, because the story of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce does not start with a breakup rumor in April 2026. It starts, as all great love stories apparently do, with a friendship bracelet. In July 2023, Travis Kelce attended Taylor Swift's Eras Tour at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. He had a plan. He had made a friendship bracelet, the symbol of the Swiftie concert tradition, and put his phone number on it. His goal was to meet her backstage and hand it to her personally. The attempt did not work, and Kelce was left with his friendship bracelets he made in disappointment. Swift does not do meet and greets before or after her shows, in order to save her voice for the 44 songs she performs each night. Kelce went home empty-handed. But Travis Kelce is not the type of man who gives up after one failed play. On July 26, 2023, he went on the New Heights podcast, the show he co-hosts with his older brother, Jason Kelce, and revealed his failed attempt at meeting Swift. He was disarmingly honest about it, telling listeners he was a little butthurt I didn't get to hand her one of the bracelets I made for her. The clip went everywhere. And more importantly, Taylor Swift heard it, as she would later reveal to Time magazine when she was named Person of the Year. In December 2023, she thought the whole thing was endearing. This all started when Travis very adorably put me on blast on his podcast, which I thought was metal as hell, she said. We started hanging out right after that. The two had been quietly dating for weeks by the time the public caught on. Swift confirmed that by the time I went to that first game, we were a couple. The world just didn't know it yet. That first game, September 24, 2023, Chiefs versus Bears at Arrowhead Stadium, changed everything. Rumors went into overdrive when Swift attended the first of many Chiefs games to cheer on Travis Kelce and his team. She sat in the Kelce family suite next to Travis's mother Donna, wearing a red ensemble that seemed to signal her allegiance to Kansas City. The cameras found her constantly. The broadcast spent as much time showing her reactions as it did showing the game. After Swift's first appearance in the Kelce suite, sales for number 87 Chiefs jerseys spiked more than 400%. The NFL, no stranger to marketing opportunities, leaned into it hard. She came back the next week, and the week after that, she brought along a big group of her famous friends, including Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. She was photographed leaving the stadium hand in hand with Kelce. The couple went to a Saturday Night Live after-party in October. By November, Travis flew to Buenos Aires to attend an Eras Tour show, and Swift famously changed the lyrics to Karma to shout him out, sealing the moment with a kiss that went viral. The world's biggest pop star and one of the NFL's biggest personalities had merged their universes in a way that felt both unprecedented and somehow perfectly natural. But from the very beginning, from those first Chiefs games, from those first paparazzi photos, from the first moment the couple's combined star power became undeniable, there were skeptics, people who looked at the pairing and saw not romance but calculation, not love but leverage. And those skeptics would find their ammunition. In September 2024, when a document surfaced that nearly tore the entire narrative apart. The trajectory from that first Arrowhead appearance in September 2023 through the end of that year was relentless. Kelce and Swift were photographed everywhere, at NFL games, at award shows, at restaurants, at private events. In November 2023, Kelce confirmed in an interview with WSJ magazine that he and the Grammy winner were dating, and spoke candidly about the scale of scrutiny she faces. "I've never dated anyone with that kind of aura about them," he told the outlet, acknowledging the paparazzi, the magnifying glass, and the constant surveillance. He added something that felt significant at the time. "When she acts like that, I better not be the one acting all strange." The year ended with Swift being named Time Person of the Year, and both halves of the couple ringing in 2024 together. They were spotted kissing in the middle of a crowded party once the clock struck midnight, a scene that looked like something out of, as observers noted, a Taylor Swift song. The confetti, the sparkly gown, the embrace at the center of the room. It was a PR team's dream and a skeptic's nightmare simultaneously. because for every person who saw genuine love, there was someone in a comment section pointing out how perfectly staged it all appeared. The football postseason only amplified the visibility. Swift attended Kelce's playoff games. She ran onto the field in Baltimore after the Chiefs clinched the AFC Championship. She was on the field when Kelce and the Chiefs won Super Bowl LV-18 on February 11, 2024, defeating the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 in overtime. She was mic'd up for the event, and the audio captured her saying to Kelce, in the aftermath of the victory, "I cannot believe that. I can't believe you. How did you do that?" This was not a woman performing a relationship. This was a woman in it. But the skeptics would get their moment 8 months later. Throughout 2024, the relationship deepened in ways both public and private. When Swift released the Tortured Poets Department in April, fans were quick to notice that songs like So High School and The Alchemy seemed to be odes to Kelce. The couple attended the 2024 US Open together, maintaining a steady stream of PDA. Alongside Patrick and Brittany Mahomes at the MTV Video Music Awards, Swift gave Kelce a shout-out during her acceptance speech for Fortnite, telling the crowd that during the filming of the video, she kept hearing someone cheering from across the studio, and that one person was my boyfriend Travis. Kelce, for his part, was embedded in Swift's world in ways that transcended the typical celebrity partner role. He traveled internationally to see a number of the pop icon's Eras Tour concerts around the world, and even made an appearance on stage in London. Before the tour wrapped in December 2024, he showed up to support her album. He integrated into her friend group. The couple kicked off Swift's 2-month break from the Eras Tour by throwing a star-studded bash at her Rhode Island home, a party attended by Jason and Kylie Kelce, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper, and others. But under the surface, a question was forming. Not about the couple's feelings. There was no credible evidence of trouble between them. The question was about the nature of public perception and the infrastructure of celebrity, and it was about to explode in the most dramatic way possible. In late 2024, Kelce surprised Swift with a party for her 35th birthday, complete with a private chef and bartender. Small details that showed thoughtful romance. He recreated one of the signature moments from her Eras Tour, putting a black top hat on her head in a recreation of her 22 performance. These were not the actions of a man in a staged relationship running down the clock on a PR contract. These were the actions of a man deeply embedded in the details of his partner's life. But the internet has a short memory and an even shorter attention span, and the birthday party was quickly overshadowed by the next news cycle. The Eras Tour concluded in December 2024, and with it came a sense of finality. The tour that had broken every record, generated over $2 billion in revenue, and transformed Taylor Swift into an even larger cultural force than she already was. That tour was done, and in its aftermath, Swift and Kelce entered a new phase, a quieter phase, a phase where the cameras were not constantly capturing them together at stadiums and concert venues. This quieter phase, paradoxically, gave the rumor mills more to work with than the public phase ever had. Because when people can see a couple together, doubt recedes. But when the couple retreats behind closed doors, doubt fills the vacuum like smoke filling an empty room. And the smoke was already thick when a document appeared on Reddit in September 2024 that would send the discourse into its most chaotic spiral yet. The year turned. January 2025 brought the AFC Championship game at Arrowhead Stadium, where Swift attended and celebrated with Kelce after the Chiefs clinched a 32-29 victory over the Buffalo Bills. She was on the field again. Hugs, kisses, confetti, the whole tableau. Then February brought Super Bowl IAX with Kelce and the Chiefs taking on Swift's hometown team, the Philadelphia Eagles. This time, the story didn't end with a Kansas City win, as the Chiefs lost 40-22. Swift was in attendance along with a star-studded entourage. The loss stung, but the couple's bond remained visible. The months that followed were relatively quiet by their standards. Swift worked on her next creative moves. Kelce pondered his football future. And in the background, the machinery of engagement preparation was beginning to turn. By June 2025, Swift performed in front of what was likely her smallest crowd in years. At Kelce's Tight End University event, playing Shake It Off while Kelce sang along in the crowd. The two were building a life that blended their worlds in ways that went far beyond photo opportunities. Then came August 2025, and the single most important chapter of their relationship to date. The chapter that makes the April 2026 divorce rumor not just false, but absurd. Because in August 2025, Travis Kelce got down on one knee. On August 10th, 2025, Travis Kelce proposed to Taylor Swift, catching her completely off guard with his romantic gesture. The proposal came at Kelce's home in Leawood, Kansas, following the recording of Swift's first ever podcast appearance on New Heights. That appearance itself was historic. Swift had never been a podcast guest before, and she used the platform to announce the name of her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl. But the album announcement, as massive as it was merely the opening act for the night's true headline. Kelce had planned it meticulously. The ring was an old mine, brilliant cut diamond, and Swift later gushed about it during promotional appearances. Speaking to Jimmy Fallon, the singer revealed that Kelce had executed the proposal flawlessly. Everything about the night had been designed to catch her off guard, and it worked. The man who had once failed to hand her a friendship bracelet at a concert had now successfully asked her to spend the rest of her life with him, and she said yes. 16 days later, on August 26, 2025, the couple shared the news with the world. Swift wrote in the caption of a joint Instagram post, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." The post included 5 photographs from the flower-filled proposal, candid shots of Kelce on one knee, of Swift's reaction, and a close-up of the engagement ring. The post was liked over 37 million times and became one of Instagram's most engaged posts of the year. The world erupted. Swifties wept. Sports media went berserk. The English teacher and gym teacher line immediately became a meme. The engagement transformed the couple's public narrative overnight. They were no longer dating, they were building a future. And with that shift came an entirely new category of public scrutiny: the wedding. When would it happen? Where would it happen? Who would be invited? What would she wear? Every detail, no matter how small, became a subject of furious speculation. This was not merely celebrity gossip. This was the merger of two empires. The biggest pop star on the planet and one of the most famous athletes in America were planning to stand at an altar, and the entire world wanted a front row seat. Swift gave her first hints during an October 2025 appearance on The Graham Norton Show. When Norton asked if the wedding would be happening in 2026, Swift joked that he will know, then clarified that she meant she'd be inviting him. She went on to say that she planned to invite everyone she'd ever hung out with, because in her view, the only stressful weddings are the ones where you have a small amount and people are on the bubble. It was classic Swift, funny, relatable, and revealing just enough to keep the world hungry for more, without actually confirming anything concrete. Meanwhile, Kelce dropped his own clues. During a January 2025 episode of New Heights, recorded months before the engagement but aired during the season, he shared his preference for summer weddings. "All the weddings I've been to, all my friends always do it in the summer," he said. He noted that he had never seen a fall wedding, an important detail given that fall is synonymous with football season, and any wedding during that window would mean competing with his professional obligations. The message was clear. If they were going to do this, it would happen between the end of off-season workouts and the start of training camp. But before the wedding machine could gather full steam, there was the matter of The Life of a Showgirl. Swift's 12th studio album dropped in October 2025, and it was everything fans had hoped for. It moved a record-breaking 4 million equivalent album units and gave Swift her 15th Billboard 200 #1 album. The album was widely interpreted as a celebration of the life she had built, a life that was happier, more confident, and more settled than the turbulent emotional landscapes of her earlier work. During the 2026 iHeartRadio Music Awards on March 26th, the couple appeared together in a moment that became one of the night's most talked about scenes. Swift turned right to Kelce during the chorus of Ray's "Where Is My Husband?" as if to say, "He's right here." She followed that up by shouting out Kelce during her acceptance speech for Pop Album of the Year. This album also probably feels very happy, confident, and free, because that's the way I get to feel every single day of my life. Because of my fiancé, who is here tonight, she said, before mouthing "I love you" to Kelce from the stage. These were not the actions of a woman on the verge of a breakup. These were not the words of a person maintaining a facade. But the internet has an extraordinary capacity for selective memory. It will ignore 100 public declarations of love in favor of one anonymous tweet claiming the opposite. And that anonymous tweet was only weeks away. The wedding planning, however, was genuinely complicated, and the shifting details gave ammunition to those who wanted to see dysfunction where none existed. Back in December 2025, multiple sources told Page 6 that the pair had secured Ocean House in Watch Hill, Rhode Island, for their wedding on Saturday, June 13, 2026. The date was immediately noted by Swift's numerology-obsessed fans. 13 is her lucky number. The venue was close to one of her homes. It seemed perfect. Then the story shifted. Reports emerged that the couple had allegedly paid another pair to relinquish their reservation on that date. The venue, Ocean House, acted swiftly to dismiss the claim, stating that it would not and is not allowing another party or entity to buy a wedding group out of a contracted wedding date. Then in April 2026, the debunking became even more explicit. Luxury event designer Tara Gerard responded to an Instagram comment, saying she was organizing a wedding at Ocean House on June 13th and that Taylor Swift was not the bride. The June 13th date was dead, but the wedding was not. On April 10th, Page 6 reported that Save the Dates had gone out, and Swift and Kelce were planning a New York wedding on July 3rd. The new date carried its own symbolism. In a 2013 interview cited by Us Weekly, Swift named Independence Day among her favorite holidays. A July 3rd wedding on the eve of the 4th of July fit perfectly with the personal mythology she has built over her career. And it worked with Kelce's schedule. ESPN's Nate Taylor reported that Kelce plans to marry Swift before training camp, which begins on July 22nd. The security around the wedding was extraordinary, even by celebrity standards. Save the Date notices had gone out to invited guests confirming the ceremony date. But the invitations contained a conspicuous omission. They did not include a venue. There's a date but no venue, one insider told reporter Rob Shooter for his Naughty But Nice newsletter. And that's completely intentional. The reason, predictably, was security. If the location got out early, it would turn into a circus. Swift and Kelce were reportedly keeping the exact New York venue location completely secret, with even invited guests left guessing the details until closer to the wedding. This was not unusual for a celebrity couple at their level, but it created a vacuum of verifiable information. And in that vacuum, speculation festered. If the venue was secret, maybe the wedding wasn't really happening. If the date had changed once, maybe it would change again. If no one could pin down the details, maybe there were no details to pin down. The security concerns were sharpened by leaks that had already compromised the couple's privacy. Swift was described as on edge following the disclosure of the wedding date, per reporter Aaron Tinney of OKUSA. Even more uncomfortably, suspicion over the leaks had fallen not on Swift's camp, but on someone within Kelce's inner circle, a situation Kelce was said to be quietly working to resolve. The implication was clear. Someone close to the groom had given information to the media without authorization. This was not the kind of story that makes a bride feel confident about the people surrounding her future husband. The Kelce family dynamics added another layer of intrigue for observers looking for cracks. Jason Kelce, Travis's older brother, retired Philadelphia Eagles legend, and the man most people would assume is a lock for best man, gave a response in December 2025 that raised eyebrows. During an appearance on Good Morning America, Jason revealed that he had no idea whether he would be in the wedding. "I've been given no details on that front," he said. "However I'm involved, I'll be happy to be." Fans found this puzzling. The fact that the groom's brother, who was famously close to him, hadn't been told any details about the wedding, left people speculating whether any plans were actually in place. Reddit threads sprang up dissecting the comment. Was Jason being coy? Was he genuinely out of the loop? Was there, as some suggested, friction within the family? Jason's sister-in-law, Kylie Kelce, echoed a similar lack of knowledge. When she told Today host Savannah Guthrie that she had no idea whether the wedding was happening this year, she doubled down later on a podcast, saying, "I would love to give you all the details. I don't have them." In hindsight, this was almost certainly the security strategy in action. If even the groom's family didn't know the details, they couldn't leak them. But at the time, to observers scanning for trouble, it looked like evidence of disorder. Or worse, like evidence that the wedding might not happen at all. The living situation added fuel to that fire. As of 2025, Swift and Kelce were both maintaining their respective residences, with no apparent plans to buy a home together. The couple has 11 homes between them, but it struck some observers as odd for a couple on the verge of marriage. The fact that Kelce is still predominantly based in Kansas City, while Swift has homes elsewhere, gave their relationship what one commentator called an oddly formal feel. Then there were the iHeartRadio Awards in March 2026. While Swift's speech about Kelce was widely viewed as romantic and affectionate, the event also reportedly led to some awkward moments between the couple, leading some to speculate that there may be trouble brewing. No specific details about what was awkward were cited. It was the kind of vague insinuation that tabloids specialize in, but it landed in a media ecosystem that was primed for exactly this kind of story. And it stuck. All of these threads, the shifting wedding plans, the family secrecy, the separate residences, the reported awkwardness, wove together into a tapestry that, to a hostile observer, could be interpreted as evidence of a relationship in trouble. To a sympathetic observer, they were evidence of nothing more than two famous people, trying to navigate the logistics of merging their lives under an insane level of public scrutiny. The interpretation depended entirely on what you wanted to believe. And in September 2024, a leaked document had already primed millions of people to want to believe the worst. The podcast also became an unlikely source of speculation. On the April 1st, 2026 episode of New Heights, guest Jared Calhoun referred to Taylor Swift as Travis Kelce's wife, and Kelce didn't correct him. The University of Cincinnati basketball coach was making a joke about Kelce going back to college to play basketball and said, "You've got to ask your wife." Instead of correcting the wife label, Kelce played along, mimicking how he'd tell Taylor, "Sweetie, I'm going back to school." Naturally, some Swifties, who are already known for creating wild theories about her secret messages and Easter eggs, took this as subtle confirmation that they'd already tied the knot. Had they secretly married? Was the July wedding actually a celebration of a marriage that had already taken place? The theory gained traction briefly before being gently debunked by the simple fact that at the 2026 iHeartRadio Music Awards, just days before the podcast episode, Swift had called Travis her fiancé on stage. If they were already married, she would presumably have used a different word. But the wife comment joined the ever-growing pile of data points that people could arrange and rearrange to tell whatever story they wanted. Every statement, every photograph, every absence, every joke became potential evidence in a case that was always being argued in both directions simultaneously. And on April 27, 2026, one side of that argument, the side that believed the relationship was crumbling, found a viral megaphone. There was even a racehorse mixed into the chaos. In the days leading up to the viral breakup post, a rumor emerged on X that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had taken a 10% ownership stake in a Kentucky Derby horse named the Puma. The claim was unverified, but it gained traction when co-owner Michael Iavaroni posted an Instagram caption that read, "Everyone asking me if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are partners on the Puma. All I can say is, I signed an NDA, so I can't confirm or deny," with a winking emoji. The winking emoji was doing a lot of heavy lifting. While Iavaroni did not provide official confirmation, the comment was widely interpreted as a hint that there could be some level of involvement. This was not evidence of a breakup. Quite the opposite. It suggested the couple was making joint investments. But it contributed to the overall atmosphere of constant speculation that surrounded everything they did. Nothing was ever simple with this couple. Nothing was ever just a fact. Everything was a potential Easter egg, a coded message, a tell. This was the environment that the April 27 breakup tweet landed in, an ecosystem saturated with speculation, where the line between verified fact and anonymous allegation had been blurred beyond recognition by years of relentless coverage. And in this ecosystem, the most important context for the viral claim, the one piece of history that made it feel almost plausible to people who should have known better, was a document that had surfaced on Reddit nearly 2 years earlier. On September 3rd, 2024, Reddit users were stunned to see a leaked contract, purportedly written up by PR firm Full Scope, that included excerpts from an alleged joint statement detailing how Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's breakup would be handled. The document appeared on the Travis Kelce Snark subreddit, posted by a user who claimed to have seen it on a friend's roommate's Snapchat. It was printed on what appeared to be the letterhead of Full Scope Public Relations, the Los Angeles-based firm that represents Kelce. The paperwork outlined a strategy for making the split public and said the date for the announcement would be September 28, 2024. The alleged contract was extraordinarily specific. It outlined a plan to release an official statement 3 days post-breakup to allow the initial media frenzy to settle and ensure clarity. The announcement, the document stated, would be gracious, respectful, and stress mutual respect. It even included sample language for the press release. The document also identified media outlets for Kelce to be interviewed by, like ESPN and People magazine, and outlined talking points, emphasizing Kelce's personal growth and commitment to his NFL career. The document went viral instantly. For the segment of the internet that had always believed the Swift-Kelce romance was a PR fabrication, and that segment was larger than most people realized. This was the smoking gun. The contract was proof. They argued that the entire relationship had been manufactured from the beginning, that Swift and Kelce were business partners playing a role, not lovers building a life. The memes came fast, the think pieces came faster, and the mainstream media, which had largely treated the relationship as genuine, was forced to address the controversy head-on. The response from Kelce's camp was immediate and forceful. A spokesperson for Full Scope denied the document's authenticity in a statement posted on Instagram. Jack Kelce, who runs the firm, told the Daily Mail, "The paperwork was entirely false and fabricated and were not created, issued, or authorized by this agency." The firm didn't stop at denial. They engaged a legal team to initiate proceedings against the individuals or entities responsible for the unlawful and injurious forgery of documents. Kelce's lawyers were on the case. The Redditor who originally posted the document deleted their account, and the original post disappeared. But by then, screenshots had been shared millions of times. The damage, to whatever extent there was damage, had been done. The document existed in the collective consciousness of the internet, regardless of whether it existed in reality. And it created a template, a narrative framework, that every future breakup rumor would fit into neatly. Fans pointed out numerous red flags suggesting the document was fake. Its vague language was compared to a high school assignment by multiple commentators, and others noted that it read as if it had been drafted by AI. The specificity of the September 28 date was, paradoxically, seen as both damning and suspicious. Too specific to be real, yet too specific to ignore. The internet could not agree, and in that disagreement, the story fed on itself endlessly. The PR relationship narrative had a history that predated the leaked contract by months. For nearly a year before the document surfaced, fans and skeptics had gone back and forth debating the legitimacy of Swift and Kelce's relationship. The skepticism was rooted in several data points, none of which constituted proof, but all of which, taken together, created an impression that something might be off. The first data point involved Kelce's publicist himself. Jack Kelce had previously admitted to arranging showmances, fake romances for publicity, for celebrities, in a 2019 interview on an Australian podcast, explaining that fabricated relationships are designed to pull attention away from a flop or promote something new. This admission, made years before Kelce and Swift ever met, became a permanent reference point for anyone arguing that their relationship was artificial. The second data point involved a streamer named QT Cinderella, who dropped a claim on her platform that Taylor's relationship with the NFL star was fake, with information allegedly coming from a publicist. The claim was third-hand at best. She said she heard it from her makeup artist, who allegedly heard it from Kelce's publicist, but it traveled through the internet like a game of telephone played at the speed of light. A third data point came from within Kelce's own PR infrastructure. A publicist named Pia Malihi attracted ire from Swifties, who were convinced she was having a dig at Taylor when she shared a post to her Instagram with a clown emoji over the singer's face. Whether this was intentional shade or a misunderstood joke, it added another thread to the conspiracy tapestry. If even people within Kelce's professional circle appeared to be mocking Swift, what did that say about the sincerity of the relationship? The counter-arguments were substantial. Taylor Swift was already the biggest pop star on the planet when she and Kelce got together. She didn't need a PR relationship to generate attention. Kelce was a 3-time Super Bowl champion, famous in his own right, not some unknown athlete looking for a career boost. The idea that either of them needed the other for publicity required ignoring their independent levels of fame, which were already stratospheric. And then, of course, September 28 came and went. No breakup, no statement, no amicable split. The date the leaked contract had allegedly pinpointed as the end of the relationship passed without incident, and the couple remained together. In fact, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were reportedly having a good laugh about the whole situation. reportedly planning to do something special on the date just to mock the conspiracy. The contract was exposed as what Kelce's team had always said it was, a fabrication. But the damage it did to the discourse was permanent. Even after the contract was debunked, even after September 28th came and went, even after the engagement, even after the wedding planning, the PR relationship narrative never fully died. It couldn't, because the internet doesn't work that way. A debunked conspiracy doesn't disappear. It evolves. The people who believed the contract was real simply adjusted their timeline. Maybe the breakup was delayed because the leak forced their hand. Maybe they extended the contract. Maybe the engagement itself was part of the act. Every new data point could be interpreted to support the pre-existing conclusion. This is the machinery that was running at full capacity when the April 27, 2026 breakup tweet went viral. The tweet did not need to be sourced, verified, or supported by evidence. It merely needed to exist in a landscape where millions of people had already been primed to believe that Swift and Kelce's relationship was fragile, fabricated, or both. The algorithm did the rest. Travis Kelce's representatives have been forced to deny fabricated stories multiple times, emphasizing the couple's genuine commitment to each other. Each denial was genuine. Each denial was prompt, and each denial was insufficient to stop the next wave from forming. Because in the attention economy, denial is just another form of engagement, and engagement is the only currency that matters. The retirement question amplified everything. In January 2026, the online trend Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift breakup escalated. For a specific and somewhat surprising reason, reports suggested that Kelce was weighing retirement, causing their long-term plans to be temporarily put on hold. This was framed by some outlets not as a career decision, but as a relationship crisis. If Kelce retires, what happens to the couple's dynamic? If the plans are on hold, does that mean the relationship is on hold too? The answer, according to everyone close to the situation, was no. The couple was navigating what one source described as the first real test of their relationship, largely due to uncertainty surrounding Kelce's NFL future. But the source also made clear that this was described as a natural adjustment rather than a crisis. According to an insider cited by the Daily Mail, Swift was being supportive, trying to put Kelce in a better mood by spending more time with him and not bombarding him with wedding plans. She was giving him space to make the decision on his own terms. Kelce ultimately made his decision. He signed a new contract with the Chiefs on March 23, 2026. Next season will be the three-time Super Bowl champion's 14th with the franchise. The retirement scare was over. The wedding was back on track. But the media cycle had already extracted every drop of anxiety from the situation, and the residue lingered in the public consciousness like a stain that won't come out in the wash. The Swift AI controversy added yet another dimension to the couple's battle with misinformation. In an era when deepfakes and AI-generated content can be produced by virtually anyone with a laptop, the couple faced threats that previous generations of celebrities never had to contend with. Taylor Swift had filed to trademark her voice and mannerisms to protect against AI misuse, a move that underscored just how vulnerable public figures are to fabricated content. If someone could create a convincing fake PR contract, the stakes of misinformation around this couple were uniquely high, because the audience was uniquely large. Swift's fan base, the Swifties, number in the tens of millions, and are organized, passionate, and capable of mobilizing at extraordinary speed. Kelce's fan base spans the entire NFL audience. The overlap between those two groups, plus the general population that follows celebrity news, means that any claim about the couple has a potential reach of hundreds of millions of people. When the April 27 tweet posted, it reached many of those people within hours. The correction, when it came, would take much longer to spread. This asymmetry, the speed of a lie versus the speed of a correction, is the fundamental dynamic that makes celebrity misinformation so effective and so destructive. A viral claim gets shared because it's sensational. A debunking gets shared because it's responsible. Sensational will always travel faster than responsible. And in the case of Swift and Kelce, the sensational claim was that the world's most famous couple had just imploded. The responsible truth was that they were still planning a wedding. Which of those two stories do you think got more clicks? The information ecosystem around Swift and Kelce had, by April 2026, reached a state of permanent turbulence. At any given moment, there were multiple competing narratives running simultaneously. The official narrative, couple is happy, wedding is on track. The tabloid narrative, couple is strained, plans keep changing. And the conspiracy narrative relationship was never real. Breakup is imminent. Each narrative had its own audience, its own evidence base, and its own reinforcement loop. Engaging with one narrative meant encountering the others, which meant that even people who started from a position of trust in the couple's happiness could be pulled toward doubt by the sheer volume of contrary claims. This was the world the April 27 tweet entered. Not a clean informational landscape where a baseless claim could be easily dismissed, but a muddy, contested, noisy environment where every piece of information was processed through the lens of pre-existing belief. The tweet didn't need to convince anyone of something new. It just needed to confirm what a significant chunk of the internet already suspected. And for those people, it did exactly that. But for the much larger group of people who genuinely cared about the couple, the Swifties, the Chiefs fans, the casual observers who had been following the love story since 2023, the tweet was a gut punch, and their response would be as swift and fierce as the rumor itself. The response from credible media outlets was fast. The Sporting News published a piece with a simple message: no, there's no actual indication of a split. The article identified the Hoops Crave account as a parody account, and noted that the entire panic had been triggered by an unverified social media post with no sourcing whatsoever. Pro Football Network echoed the debunking, reporting that the sensationalized breakup tweet is nothing more than a desperate attempt to farm engagement online, and confirming that Swift and Kelce have not parted ways. Morning Honey traced the rumor back to its origins, identifying the two key posts and noting that both came from anonymous and parody accounts. The outlet pointed out the timing of the claim was particularly suspect, given that it came amid the couple's highly anticipated July wedding. Why would a couple on the verge of getting married suddenly split without any prior indication of trouble? The rumor didn't pass the most basic smell test. ArtThreat compiled a comprehensive fact check, noting that credible sources consistently shut down these claims, and that no actual indication of a split exists anywhere in verified reporting. The outlet highlighted the broader pattern. Breakup speculation had resurfaced online in recent weeks as part of a recurring cycle, but each iteration was met with denials from people actually close to the couple. The April 27th tweet was not new information. It was the same baseless claim wearing a slightly different outfit. What made this particular cycle different was the sheer scale of the reaction and the speed with which it outpaced the facts. The It's Dre post alone generated 783,700 views, combined with the Hoops Crave post and the dozens of engagement farming accounts that amplified both. The total reach of the false claim was likely in the tens of millions. Against that tsunami, the corrections posted by sports news outlets and entertainment journalists, who do not typically command the same viral reach as anonymous gossip accounts, were a bucket against a flood. The asymmetry was felt most acutely by the fans. Swifties, who have developed a reputation for being among the most organized and protective fan bases in entertainment history, mobilized rapidly to debunk the claim. They flooded the comment sections of both viral posts with corrections. They created threads on Reddit, laying out the evidence that the couple was still together. They pointed to the March 2026 iHeartRadio Awards as proof that Swift and Kelce were fine, reminding people that just weeks earlier, Swift had publicly called Kelce her fiancé and told him she loved him from the stage in front of millions of viewers. But fan debunking, no matter how thorough, carries a different weight than independent journalism. To outsiders, Swifties defending the relationship could be dismissed as biased. The fans knew the truth, but they couldn't make the rest of the internet care about the truth. The viral tweet had done its work. The narrative was out. Taylor Swift divorce was in the search results. And once something is in the search results, it takes on a life of its own. The couple themselves, characteristically, said nothing. As of the days following the viral posts, the pop superstar and Chiefs tight end had not issued any official update. Neither Kelce nor Swift publicly addressed the rumors. This was consistent with their established approach to misinformation. Ignore it. Let the truth speak for itself, and trust that the people who matter, their families, their friends, their wedding guests, already know the reality. Responding to every viral falsehood would be a full-time job, and both of them already have those. But the silence, as always, was interpreted differently by different audiences. To supporters, it was a sign of maturity and confidence. To skeptics, it was suspicious. Why wouldn't they just post a photo together and put the whole thing to rest? Why wouldn't one of them tweet a denial? The absence of a response was treated as evidence, which is itself a hallmark of conspiracy thinking. The refusal to engage is proof of the conspiracy, and the engagement is proof of deflection. There is no winning move. For now, the viral split claim had noise, but it still had no official backing. Talks of wedding planning and engagement still continue to dominate the couple's public timeline. The wedding was still on. The save the dates were still out. The venue was still secret. July 3 was still circled on the calendar. But the internet had already moved on to the next cycle of speculation. Because the internet always moves on, and the machine never stops. One of the most revealing aspects of the April 2026 debacle. The original Hoops Crave post was not a news report. It was not investigative journalism. It was a single sentence from an account that openly identified itself as a parody. And yet it was enough to send shockwaves through both Swifties and Chiefs Kingdom. Why? The answer lies in the architecture of social media itself. Platforms like X are designed to amplify content that generates engagement. A post claiming that the world's most famous couple has broken up generates enormous engagement. Likes, shares, quote tweets, angry responses, sad emojis, think piece threads. The platform's algorithm does not distinguish between engagement driven by truth and engagement driven by outrage. It treats them identically. A lie that goes viral is, from the platform's perspective, indistinguishable from a truth that goes viral. Both generate revenue, both keep users on the site, both serve the algorithm's purpose. This structural incentive means that celebrities like Swift and Kelce are permanently vulnerable to fabricated claims. No amount of denial, no amount of legal action, no amount of fact-checking can eliminate the incentive. To create the next viral hoax, the people who post these claims are not deterred by corrections. They are motivated by the engagement that the corrections themselves generate. The debunking becomes part of the content cycle. The fact-check becomes part of the spectacle. And the spectacle is all that matters. The shocking secret framing that drove many of the headlines, including the one that brought you here, is worth examining in its own right. What was the shocking secret that allegedly triggered Taylor Swift's filing for divorce? Depending on which corner of the internet you visited, the answer changed. Some versions of the story pointed to the retirement question, suggesting that Kelce's potential departure from the NFL was the secret Swift couldn't handle. Others recycled the PR contract conspiracy, implying that the secret was the revelation that the relationship had been fake all along. But there was no shocking secret. There was no divorce filing. There was no breakup. There was a parody account, a viral tweet, an engagement-hungry algorithm, and a public that had been marinating in 3 years of speculation. The tweet was entirely fabricated. There seems to be absolutely no truth to the claim. The couple remained together, engaged, and planning a wedding scheduled for July 3rd, 2026, in New York City. The pattern, rumor, panic, debunking, repeat, has played out so many times now that it has its own rhythm, its own predictable beats. But for the people caught in it, for Swift and Kelce, for their families, for their teams, each cycle exacts a cost. Each false headline is another conversation they have to have with worried friends. Each viral lie is another layer of stress on top of the already monumental task of planning a wedding under the world's brightest spotlight. The fan response in the aftermath of the debunking was divided along predictable lines. The core Swiftie community rallied behind the couple with the ferocity they are famous for. They reported the parody accounts for misinformation. They flooded comment sections with the truth. It was an impressive display of organized, decentralized fact-checking. But there was a smaller, louder contingent that used the episode as confirmation of their existing narrative. The conspiracy theorists, the ones who had believed the leaked contract in 2024, who had believed Q Cinderella's claim, who had believed every anonymous insider who hinted at trouble. They saw the April 2026 tweets not as a hoax, but as the truth breaking through a managed facade. They pointed to the couple's silence as proof. They pointed to the shifting wedding plans as proof. They pointed to Jason Kelce's "I don't know" comments as proof. In their framework, the absence of evidence was the strongest evidence of all. This is the fundamental challenge of combating celebrity misinformation in the age of social media. You cannot debunk a conspiracy to people who are committed to the conspiracy. You can only provide accurate information to people who are open to receiving it. But who saw the headline, "Taylor Swift files for divorce," and felt a twinge of concern? The debunking may or may not have reached them. The headline, though, definitely did. While all of this was happening online, the actual couple was doing what couples do, living their lives. Insiders reported that the pair enjoys quiet downtime together, reconnecting through simple activities away from cameras and paparazzi attention. They were still navigating their dueling schedules, Swift's promotional obligations for the life of a showgirl, Kelce's preparation for the upcoming NFL season. They were still planning a wedding that was now less than 3 months away, and they were still choosing, every day, not to let the noise from the outside world dictate the rhythm of their private lives. Sources consistently describe their relationship as genuine, supportive, and mutually strengthening. The reporting from people who actually had access to the couple, not anonymous social media accounts, not parody tweets, not Reddit users citing their friend's roommate's Snapchat, painted a picture of two people who were genuinely happy together. The evidence for the relationship's health was abundant, consistent, and sourced. The evidence for its collapse was non-existent. And yet the headlines persisted, because in the economy of modern media, couple is fine does not generate clicks. Couple might be breaking up generates clicks. And in a world where clicks are the only metric that many content creators optimize for, the incentive structure is permanently tilted toward chaos. The truth is boring, the lie is exciting, and the algorithm will always choose excitement. The Travis Kelce old tweets phenomenon is worth mentioning here, because it illustrates a broader truth about how the internet relates to this couple. Kelce's old posts from the early 2010s, riddled with misspellings, random observations, and the unfiltered energy of a college kid, had become a source of endless entertainment for Swifties who discovered them. His famous 2011 tweet about giving a squirrel a piece of bread had gone viral. Even NASA eventually replied to one of his old tweets, referencing a Taylor Swift lyric in the response. Kelce himself addressed the resurfaced tweets on New Heights, explaining that he had been using Twitter as like a diary and saying nonsense. He confessed that he had been trying to delete them since entering the NFL, knowing they would eventually be found. The deep dive into his social media history might have to do with his relationship with Taylor Swift, whose fans are known for their investigative and analytical skills. The old tweets were harmless, funny, and endearing, the digital equivalent of finding your partner's embarrassing high school yearbook photos. But they also demonstrated the level of scrutiny this couple lives under. Every word Travis Kelce has ever posted publicly, going back 15 years, has been found, screenshotted, analyzed, and shared by millions of people. When that level of scrutiny is applied to everything the couple does, every public appearance, every Instagram story, every podcast comment, the pressure is immense. And yet, by every indication, the relationship endures. One of the more amusing anecdotes that emerged during this period, an anecdote that is entirely at odds with the narrative of a couple on the brink of collapse, involved Travis Kelce and Greta Gerwig. In an interview, Swift revealed that her fiancé had mistaken Hugh Grant's wife, Anna Eberstein, for Greta Gerwig, and gushed about the movie Barbie to her. The twist? Kelce had actually spent time with the real Greta Gerwig at the same event, danced next to her throughout the show, but didn't once realize she was the Barbie director. The story, which went viral when old footage of Kelce and Gerwig dancing at an Eras Tour show resurfaced with the new context, was peak Travis Kelce, charming, a little oblivious, and entirely human. It was the kind of story a fiancé tells because she finds it hilarious, and because it reveals something lovable about the person she's about to marry. It was not the kind of story someone tells about a person they're about to divorce. But the internet doesn't process nuance. The internet processes headlines, and the headline that was trending in late April 2026 was not Taylor Swift tells cute story about fiancé's Greta Gerwig mix-up. The headline was Taylor Swift files for divorce after Travis Kelce's shocking secret goes viral. One of those headlines reflects reality. The other generates clicks. And in the attention economy, clicks beat reality every time. So let us bring this back to where we started. The title of this video, Taylor Swift files for divorce after Travis Kelce's shocking secret goes viral, makes 3 specific claims. First, that Taylor Swift has filed for divorce. Second, that Travis Kelce has a shocking secret. Third, that the revelation of this secret is what triggered the divorce filing. Every single one of these claims is false. Taylor Swift has not filed for divorce. She cannot file for divorce because she is not married. She and Travis Kelce are engaged, with a wedding reportedly planned for July 3, 2026 in New York City. They have not broken up. They have not announced a split. Neither Kelce nor Swift has publicly addressed the April 2026 breakup rumors, because the rumors are not worth addressing. They originated from a parody account on X and an unverified anonymous post, neither of which constitutes reporting. Travis Kelce does not have a shocking secret that has gone viral. The closest thing to a viral Kelce secret in recent months was the retirement deliberation, which was widely reported, not secret, and the wife comment on his podcast, which was a joke that Swifties overanalyzed. The rumors appear rooted in a fake leaked document that circulated in September 2024, which Kelce's legal team called entirely false. The April 2026 breakup rumor was, by every credible account, it originated from accounts with no credibility, no sourcing, and no connection to either Swift or Kelce. It spread because social media platforms reward engagement over accuracy, and a breakup claim about the world's most famous couple is guaranteed to generate engagement. The people who created the posts knew exactly what they were doing. But the fact that the rumor was false does not mean it was harmless. Every time a baseless breakup claim goes viral, it contributes to an erosion of public trust in celebrity reporting. It makes people more cynical, more suspicious, and more vulnerable to the next false claim. It wastes the time and emotional energy of millions of fans who genuinely care about the couple. And it adds stress to the lives of two people who are simply trying to live, love, and plan a wedding. With breakup rumors continuously debunked by credible outlets, Swift and Kelce send a clear message. Their love story continues moving forward, not backward. The evidence is abundant. The March iHeartRadio appearance, the save the dates, the venue secrecy, the insider descriptions of a couple that is genuine, supportive, and mutually strengthening. None of this is consistent with a relationship in crisis. All of it is consistent with a couple preparing for one of the biggest days of their lives. The broader lesson of this saga is not really about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. It is about the information environment we all inhabit. We live in a world where a single tweet from a parody account can generate headlines containing the word divorce for a couple that isn't even married. We live in a world where a fabricated PR contract can shape public perception for years after it was exposed as a forgery. We live in a world where the line between news and noise has been obliterated by platforms that profit from the confusion. Swift and Kelce are not unique in facing this problem. They are, however, uniquely positioned to illustrate its scale. Because their combined fame is so enormous, every rumor about them reaches an audience that dwarfs the populations of most countries. When a false claim about their relationship goes viral, it is not a minor blip in the news cycle. It is a global event. And the correction, no matter how swift, no pun intended, can never fully undo the impression left by the original claim. This is the reality of modern celebrity. The spotlight that elevates also distorts. The fame that opens doors also invites invasions. The love story that captivates the world also becomes the world's property, subject to revision, reinterpretation, and fabrication by anyone with a phone and an internet connection. Swift and Kelce know this better than most. They have been navigating it since the friendship bracelet, through the first game, through 2 Super Bowls, through a billion-dollar tour, through an engagement, and now through the countdown to a wedding. And at every step, they have been forced to contend with a parallel universe of misinformation that exists alongside their actual lives. The relationship's resilience in the face of this onslaught is, frankly, remarkable. Most couples would buckle under a fraction of the scrutiny that Swift and Kelce endure daily. The paparazzi, the tabloids, the anonymous accounts, the conspiracy theories, the leaked contracts, the viral tweets, the constant grinding, relentless pressure to either prove that their love is real or admit that it isn't. And yet insiders confirm both stars remain focused on their nuptials despite swirling social media speculation. When it comes to wedding planning, nothing feels rushed or one-sided. Kelce and Swift are planning the nuptials together, approaching it as a partnership. This is not the behavior of a couple going through the motions. This is the behavior of 2 people who have chosen each other, who continue to choose each other, despite every incentive the modern world provides to choose otherwise. The wedding, when it happens, will be one of the most anticipated events of 2026. The guest list will be scrutinized, the photos will break the internet, the dress will launch 1,000 imitations, and somewhere in some corner of X or Reddit or TikTok, someone will post an anonymous claim that the whole thing was staged. But the couple will be married, the vows will have been spoken, and the friendship bracelet that started it all, the one that Travis Kelce never got to give Taylor Swift at Arrowhead Stadium in July 2023, will have led, through 3 years of chaos and noise and misinformation, to the only destination that ever mattered. For the fans who panicked on April 27th, and there were millions of you, the message is simple. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are still going strong. The viral tweet was fake. The breakup did not happen. The divorce filing does not exist. The shocking secret was a fabrication. Fans can breathe a collective sigh of relief. This love story is still going strong. For the skeptics who have spent 3 years arguing that the relationship is artificial, the message is different but equally clear. You have had 3 years to produce a single piece of credible evidence that the relationship is fake. You have not done so. The leaked contract was debunked. The Q-Teen Cinderella claim was hearsay. The September 28, 2024 breakup date came and went. The couple got engaged. They are planning a wedding. At some point, the simplest explanation that two people fell in love becomes the only explanation that survives contact with reality. And for the engagement farmers, the gossip influencers, the anonymous account operators, and the algorithm gaming content mills who profit from creating panic around other people's relationships. The message is the simplest of all. The tweet was entirely fabricated. There seems to be absolutely no truth to the claim, and the internet, for all its flaws, eventually gets to the truth. It just takes a little longer than the lie. The story of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce is not a story about divorce. It is not a story about shocking secrets. It is a story about two people who met in the most public way imaginable. A podcast confession about a failed friendship bracelet exchange, and built a relationship under the most intense microscope in modern entertainment. It is a story about the collision of two worlds, music and sports, and the creation of a cultural phenomenon that neither of them could have predicted. It is also a story about misinformation, about the fragility of truth in the digital age, and about the extraordinary effort it takes to maintain a private life when you are one of the most public people on the planet. Swift and Kelce did not choose the scrutiny. They chose each other. The scrutiny was the tax they paid for doing so in public. And every time a false headline appears, every time a parody account tweets a lie, every time a conspiracy theory gains traction, they pay that tax again. But the relationship endures. The engagement ring is on her finger. The save the dates are in the mail. The venue is a secret. The guest list is enormous. And somewhere in New York City, a team of planners is preparing for what will almost certainly be the wedding of the decade. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are getting married. That is the truth. Everything else is noise. When the history of this era is written, the era of algorithmic media, of viral misinformation, of celebrity culture in the age of attention economics, the Swift-Kelce saga will be a case study. Not because the couple is more important than anyone else, but because the machinery that surrounds them is more visible. The levers are exposed. The mechanisms are laid bare. You can watch in real time how a parody tweet becomes a trending topic, how a trending topic becomes a headline, how a headline becomes a fact that people cite in conversations, and how that fact persists long after it has been debunked. The couple's response to all of it, the steady, consistent refusal to let the noise define their story, is its own kind of statement. They do not correct every lie. They do not chase every rumor. They show up for each other at award shows and football games and podcast recordings and private dinners. They plan their wedding. They live their lives. And they trust that, over time, the truth is louder than the algorithm. As of today, April 2026, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged to be married. Their wedding is weeks away. They have survived 3 years of rumors, conspiracies, leaked documents, parody accounts, tabloid hit pieces, and the full weight of the internet's obsession. They are still here. They are still together. And the only shocking secret about their relationship is that there are no shocking secrets at all. The friendship bracelet, the podcast confession, the first Chiefs game, the Buenos Aires kiss, the Super Bowl victories and the Super Bowl loss, the Eras tour, the tortured poets department, the life of a showgirl, the proposal in Kansas, the engagement announcement that broke Instagram, the save the dates for July 3rd, the venue that even the guests don't know, the retirement scare, the wedding planning as partnership, the iHeartRadio I love you, the parody tweets, the fake contracts, the viral lies, the truth, all of it, the romance and the chaos, the love and the noise, the private moments and the public spectacle, has led to this point. Two people, weeks from their wedding day, still standing, still choosing each other, still building a life together despite every obstacle the modern world has placed in their path. That is the story. Not the divorce that never happened, not the secret that never existed, not the tweet that was fabricated from nothing. The story is simpler and more enduring than any of those things. The story is love. And it is, despite everything, still going strong.